Welcome back to the Tydirium Hangar, and welcome to the 18,000 subscriber special. Yeah, we're at the 18,000 subscriber special, and I want to say thanks to everybody for the likes, subscribes, comments, and all of that. I've actually been having a little trouble replying to comments. I read all of them though, but I want to say that this video is for giving back to the viewer and showing collections, and it's getting to a level that some people that have shown their collections, now they're showing photography and stuff, so I'm going to feature a lot of that in here with kind of some updates to collections. Some new people showing their collections, which is really awesome, and I love to see new people getting involved in this. So I'll have a link down below for the 19K sub special. And with that, let's go ahead and get into looking at these amazing collections. I want to say thanks to everybody for coming along with this journey with me at the Tydirium Hangar and liking and subscribing and all that kind of stuff. But let's take a look at these coming up. Alright, one thing I should have probably mentioned in the intro is this is something new for my Retro Wednesday is I'm going to be making videos about righting my wrongs and fixing errors or things I didn't have or omitted or just showed incomplete. And that's going to be a fun new series on Retro Wednesday. But let's get into this. This first picture is from Alpha Pack, and it looks really nice. This is a very nice display. Look at all the backgrounds. Look how everything's sized up. And I'm quite impressed. I like how it looks. It's clean. It's neat. And then we go into some individual shelves in here so you kind of see how they're all set up. And then here's an Autobot shelf showing Jetfire, Skyfire looking great. And everything's well posed. Everything makes sense. It's all in there really good. So fantastic job right there. Loving the backgrounds. Loving the lighting. Getting here, this picture here, this is showing some past, present, future kind of stuff. And so what we've got here, we've got three different versions: Masterpiece, G1, and then we've got what's going on with the kind of Siege Kingdom, wherever we are with that going on right there. Then here we go with another one of the shelves in here, looking pretty good. We got the triple changers. We've got a really nice background. We've got one of them elevated up a little bit more, so it looks good. We've got them all posed really well, looking fantastic. And then we got this picture here, which shows a whole bunch of good stuff going on. I guess I kind of left all these in chronological submission, I think. But anyway, so there's a lot of the Chug collection going on right here, which looks fantastic. Back to another one of this right here. So here's another really good looking Masterpiece shot that's going on. Got an 86 movie selection. Looks fantastic. Background, nice screen, stuff going on in there. And a great selection of figures and a great set of pose. Here's Baddies of the Baddies for the 86 movie. And I don't know where that Unicron head came from, but I think it looks really cool. It fits this very well. And all posed clean, neat, and elegant. Then here, this is a G.I. Joe shelf. We're mixing two different displays in here. Anyway, I like it. I like it. You've got a Prime on one side, you got a Megatron on the other, and all that is looking fantastic. And then here we go with, this is the DX9. So I was initially thinking Fans Toys because they're taller. I knew they weren't X-Transbots. But then I got to look at the Motormaster, and the Motormaster's a little too clean on the side of the legs there to be the Fans Toys. So this is DX9, and looks really good. Here we go, some Marvel stuff going on. Great looking Marvel setup. And one thing is, the first thing I looked at it is I was like, there's a lot going on, a lot of figures, but yet it still looks clean the way it's set up. And I like that. I like that. Back to more Transformers. We've got Megatron and the 3.0 Chikara Seekers. All this looks really good. It looks fantastic. I love this. Got the throne in there, and yeah, that works. So it's sold as the Starscream Coronation set with the throne, but obviously, you know, Megatron's going to take it over. And then here we go with some of these, the Function X, I think, on these Headmasters. And then I'm trying to figure out which one of the Blitzweight is, but still looks really good. Fantastic. Here we go with Reflector and this KFC, I think. KFC. Looks good. Looks real good. So it's nice how all this stuff, they're all just working. There's enough in here that this feels like a full display, but not so much that it's cluttered. And then here we go with this, and that's interesting. Here's something I don't see very often. You don't see small bots in the front on the bottom and then propped up the big ones. Usually you see the small ones propped up. That's the way I did mine. My small ones are propped up, but the big ones are down below in front. But this makes a lot of sense so you can see everything really well. And we got some Marvel. Let's marvel at the Marvel. Looking pretty good. And now there's a whole lot of stuff in here and a whole lot of stuff going on, but it still looks good. And there's enough empty space. You see a background. And yeah, looking good. Now this is that center shot, that very center shot that you saw where all of this stuff was in the middle of his display. And I think that looks really cool that you have all the elevations. I'm not sure what's used on the side either. Come little, maybe some suction cup add-ons, some suction cup kind of clear stands so you get the elevation up there so you can have some stuff going on up top and make use of the vertical empty space, which I think it's all very well used. Very good job. And back to some like cone heads and some Insecticons. So we've got a great looking display in here. And yeah, that looks really good. Thank you so much for submitting your pictures. All the stuff's displayed well. All of it looks very, very good. Now we're getting into some of Angel's pictures. We'll start with a custom here. So we've got all these customs of these scorpions, little Scorponok customs. And I don't really know about the custom work that's done on that Auto Scout, but looks really cool. Then we get into some of the displays here. This is called Dance-A-Tron, is the name of this picture from Angel. And he puts a lot of work into each one of his displays, his backgrounds. And so with that, all the work that goes into the display, and only a few figures just to make it look that much more impressive. So does look impressive. They did a good job. Okay, this one here, I take orders from you no more. I am an Autobot now. This is just reliving a scene from that show, and so much fun being able to bring it to real life. And then here we go with a whole lot more fun stuff. I think there's some of the customs are in here. Not all of these are custom, but maybe most of them are. Still looks good. There's some MMC stuff going on. And here we go with some more color variations, and definitely the MMC bots just taking over. It works really well. And that with the transistor repaint to the Twincast. And then here we go with some of these. So we've got these Power Master Primes coming from these third parties. And here we go with two different versions, and that looks really cool. So there we go. And kind of getting a good comparison of old and new and where we're coming from, where we're going. Then this is something my son actually had questions about, the Shattered Glass stuff. But I think it was all more or less just Hasbro Pulse exclusives. And if you missed out, then you just missed out. And so this does look cool. It's interesting. It's one of those things that when it came out, I was like, why would anyone want it? Now I kind of wish I would have picked them up because they look cool. But this does look cool too. And then Angel, thanks for submitting your pictures. I think I might have more Angel pictures. I'll show them later if I have them. I thought I had a few more of these. So now we're going to get into Ben's pictures, and this is a Happy Accident. And he's really big into the photography. So more than just showing collections, he likes to show moments and events or things that he's gotten and showcase them really well with amazing photography. Far beyond anything I can do right now. And showing this, so this is the Transformer crossover next to an original / aka retro version, but looks really good. Here we go with just some cool stuff. Got a Ramen Toy Quicksilver and a few other figures in here. Want to note the background is really interesting and just kind of all the different colors and making it pop. A whole lot of fun. And then here's this picture with some Motu going on and different versions. I don't think all of this came from Masterverse, so there's some variety in here, or maybe some of it's customized, but it still looks kind of cool. And it's interesting to see stuff that's different, especially with these shots that he's doing. And then he made a little comic strip here if you want to pause it and read it and just check it out and have a lot of fun. But this is what having fun with the hobby is all about. I like stuff like this. Really cool. And then we got a little bit of Joe stuff. With this, you got to appreciate it. Got to appreciate that Battle Force 2000. I think that's what this whole group is part of. Looks really cool. I don't see very many of those snowmobiles that look like that. And this is another one of those amazing kind of pictures where it looks like you did a finishing move, and that's Mortal Kombat and all that fun stuff. Really cool. Looks like you got some lava down there, and you're just jumping out of the lava and taking out a few people at once. Get over here! And then we've got some... I think this is all mainline? Is this all mainline stuff? Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, sometimes my first initial look at a picture, and I have to stop and think. Hasbro's doing some pretty good work, because some of these look that good. But it's a nice looking shot, and just kind of the way it's laid out looks like a whole lot of fun. And yes, Hasbro's doing good work these days. And then this is kind of something that feels like a Halloween kind of thing going on. Scooby-Doo, but I want to feature this because of the lighting and just how do you create this whole look and effect, and that's just a whole lot of fun just in one shot. Then we've got this, which feels like you're starting to do a little like cover art or something you would put on a box art. That looks cool and very interesting and fun. And just kind of seeing some good old G1 fun. G1 fun? Is there such thing? Thanks, Ben. Excellent, excellent collection. Love your pictures. You do a great job with photography. Now we're going to get into Brian's collection now. I've got a lot of pictures from I think it begins with this and ends with this, believe it or not. But this is really impressive. This is the most stuff I've seen for Green Lantern. And that's the thing. Some people are super into a certain thing, like Green Lantern. And I'll never have this many Green Lanterns. I have a few. But this is impressive. It's very interesting. I didn't know they made this many different versions. And that's why I enjoy seeing these pictures. This is a lot of fun. Another thing is we got this display here. And we're going to see the whole room here in a bit and how it's laid out and set up, which I probably should have led with. But this is 3 of the Ewok villages from Kenner. Now, I did a video about my Ewok Village review, and I did put some together. Just kind of stuck them side by side. But this is going a whole different direction because not only is it painted, not only is it give it the weathering, but also added like a bridge from one section to another to feel more like the movie. And so this is far beyond what I showcased in my video. This is a lot of work, and I think it turned out really well. Then here's another angle of it. You can start seeing a few things that we're going to look at. Just like looking over the superpowers and how they did that. I've got a lot of words for that because that's pretty cool. A lot of cool stuff going on right here. With the way this is set up. We look at some Star Wars stuff, and there's going to be more Star Wars stuff, so we have a combination of vintage and modern, and just mixing the different eras together because they are the same scale, and you can do that. And you kind of need to, because so much stuff wasn't made in the vintage era that's made today. And then we got some art on the wall here, along with a few of these other shelves and displays, and just kind of how does the whole room come together before we get in deeper into some of these different collections. And then here we go with another picture of those Green Lantern figures. They look cool flying around. So I didn't catch this at first, but they're suspended in the air. Some of them are suspended in the air. That is interesting too. Fill up that vertical space. How are you going to use up that vertical space? Why waste it when you can do this? And if you put another shelf in there, you wouldn't have the same level of visibility to the top area or even to the lower area. So that does work. And then having the superpower figures up top there, which were Matty Collector, like 6-7 inch, pretty cool. Here we go with another shot of Star Wars. So here we go with some Star Wars, looking pretty good. This is the Jabba's palace. And I think this is homemade stuff, dioramas, mixed with the Walmart one that came in, or that's my belief. Then it might just all be 100% just like custom made, but it looks really good, very impressive. Here we go with a few more things. So this is like the vintage Star Wars and stands, and like a lot of people that don't collect the vintage Star Wars probably don't appreciate that first 12 stand, and then of course what's going on with some of these other play sets up top here, and it just looks good and it's impressive. And then that skiff. Nice flex. And then here we go with, I believe it's a Jurassic Park, but it's a mixture, smorgasbord, kind of like a Batman, Batcave, and then we've got this animated Batmobile, and then we've got the computer and all this. But then we have other characters that are just kind of along for the ride. And then we go with this shelf, looking pretty cool. I like this. This is kind of showing everything that's going on. This is a repurposed kind of a TV entertainment stand, but you take the very center where a TV would have been, which obviously this is not going to accommodate modern day TVs very well. So let it accommodate your collection very well, and it does. And that's really nice. How it's nice and clean in the middle. And then of course we've got other displays on the outside, and the other thing is you're not looking at this from just one angle because they are rounded. Then you need to kind of look at the sides from a different angle, which is cool. And then we got this over here. Now we got a lot more of the DC stuff going on over here, and we've got lighting in there. We've got a lot of material, backgrounds, set it up to look like it's a real world environment. A lot of stuff going on. Very nice collection going on right here. And then here, I think we're gonna get a close up of that Superpowers, but this is kind of showing you top to bottom how this area looks, and it looks great. First of all, with the Superpower stuff, I love the blue and the yellow. I love how he accommodated the place at the Hall of Justice really well, and it works this way. And I also like of course, the lighting, just the way it feels like Superpowers. When you look at this, you get the Superpowers feels. Down to like a yellow post holding up the shelf, really cool. Here's another angle of this whole section and this segment, and there's a lot going on here. So I really think that this is an impressive setup, and I'm actually curious how you turn all the lights on, because there's all these different shelves that have all this lighting. Is there like a master switch or anything like that, or 3 switches that you got to flip? Then we get into this area here. Now this is a lot of work. This was a lot of work and looks really good. And as you can see, we have sort of the top shelf here with Earth. Well, not the top shelf. The top shelf that's got diorama in it has like an Earth scene, which is great with the Dinobots and all that. Then you get into the lower shelf, like you're on the Ark, you're in the with the Teletran one, and there and all that kind of stuff. Then on the bottom, of course, you're the Decepticons with the purple, and looking fantastic. That just looks really good. And just look how the material looks different. Like you got the post painted purple, and then the post painted orange, and then you've got rock for the Earth area. Here are some of the booklets and the flyers and stuff that we got from G1 Transformers, and they've been framed. I've been framed! I was framed! But in a good way. Okay, and then I want to end with this picture here. This picture shows the whole area looking amazing. This is how it goes. So you're going to go in here and you can walk around the displays so that this displays are 360, but other displays are rounded off too, and so you could just see everything that's in there, enjoy everything that's in there, and that looks really nice. Great way to display it. Thanks for showcasing it. So I got a picture from Chris here, and I want to say that Chris has changed up how he does stuff. Now, he did have a lot of his figures on speakers. He's went ahead and laid them on shelf, and now it's kind of behind his workspace, and he can just look up and get a little inspiration. And again, I say that pretty much every time I show his collection, but it is something that inspires me when I do things to look up there and get inspiration. Hopefully he gets the same level of inspiration. Thanks for showcasing updates to your collection, and hope it keeps growing and changing and getting even better. All right, we're on to a different Chris, and this is a different type of collection. So you're going to see some stuff in here that is multiples, some really cool, interesting stuff. It's going to be comparison time coming up, but with this very neatly laid out, very cool. Some of the stuff just mind-blowing, but let's get into the next one. Roll the tape. Now these combiners, I think, have upgrade kits on them, and I'm not 100% sure what's going on over there with the yellow on the Devastator, but to me it feels kind of like a kit bash with a G2 version, and I don't have a problem with it. I don't know what's going on. I think it's interesting, and it's definitely something I don't see every day. But looking at all this, I do believe these all have upgrade kits, or most of them have upgrade kits. They look really nice. That's a nice looking set of combiners, and combiners are like all the rage right now. Everybody's trying to get their combiner sets together. And then we've got all these dinos, so multiple different dinos from multiple different companies, and looking good. Fantastic. That's all those swoops. I'm a little jealous. I fight the urge to buy more swoops. It's a tough. I gotta keep that under control. Then we've got a nice clean look of the Masterpiece collection, all laid out, all elevated. looking great. And this is something, if you look down there at the throne with Megatron, this is something that I really kind of like, an element I like in displays, to where, say, some center point, there's really very little in front of it, so it really brings your eye and focuses it there, and it just kind of makes the whole shelf flow and feel like it belongs like that. It's very interesting, looks good. Plus little accent details with the faction symbols in there. Now this is the one that, like, I had to stop and count these and look at these close and figure out what's going on here. 29 Optimus Primes. And if you think about it, let's say you started with the first MP10 and you bought one of each of these iterations of MP10. So let's say you got 6 MP10s. And then, okay, well, then Magic Square comes out with 6 different colors. You get all those different iterations. And then Transform Element does theirs. And as we go along, the MP44 and all the different version colors of that, you see where I'm going. This is what you end up with. And it looks good. It's impressive. This is like, all right, we're going to do a comparison for a new Prime, so let's get them all out and compare them. But this is pretty impressive. And for me, I just sold off a couple of older Primes to some of my friends because they needed one. They didn't have one at all. And with that, I'm just thinking, this is cool. This is also cool. This is a Decepticon shelf, so you see 3 different versions of Shockwave in there, and you've got multiple different types of Seekers, and lots of sound waves. And then 2 different sets of the Autobot clones, or Decepticon clones, sorry. I might be saying it wrong because it's reflector, but in the background there's like generic reflectors in the cartoon, so I don't want to get that confused with the Season 4 clones, but it's my understanding we call the extra reflectors clones. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Looking at the Insecticons in here, these look really nice. Just all these different ones, whole lot of fun, and with that, great picture. And then we got another different close-up of a different shelf of combiners, and I'm trying to figure out if any of these have, I mean, yeah, these definitely have upgrade kits. I mean, you have to, there's no way you can have a Defensor or Computron that look that good without them being with the upgrade kits. So it's probably the Like Toys one. That looks amazing. That just looks fantastic. What a great looking shelf. And then it's kind of like this. When you get your figures already looking this good, are you even going to bother with getting some other combiners? Chris, thanks for showing me your collection. Really awesome collection. Really awesome job showcasing it. We're getting the Gibbs collection here, and I have to say, first of all, we've already seen like the whole collection shots. We're going to see some like updates, upgrades, and some new stuff. A little bit of photography there. That's just kind of how it's going with it, and you're in for some really good looking stuff here. Love this Voltron shelf. We're going to see another Voltron shelf here in a little bit. Here we go with some mainline stuff. Is it mainline or is it Legends? I think it's mainline. Yeah, mainline stuff. Hasbro. And that looks good. So this little area is kind of an area where he takes pictures of stuff that he's working on or he just got in. And it just, the background looks really good. And it's just fun to see the pictures from this angle. And then here's another one with different lighting. And this is the Beast Wars for the Hasbro Beast Wars, looking really good. And I, like I said, Hasbro's been doing some good work. So what we've gotten, Beast Wars fans have gotten some amazing stuff. G1 fans have gotten really spoiled, to tell you the truth. And so with that, like, amazing work that's been done. And especially when you just lay them out like this, it looks good. Here's that other Voltron I was saying. And looking at this, I'm not sure. Yep, this is the official. The official, not the KO one. Because you look at the back metal on it. But it doesn't really matter. Is that Grandizer, or am I wrong? And then we've got the Punch Counter Punch. The thing about this one is why buy 2 when you can have 3? So I thought 2, one in each faction, but you also got to have one to showcase that amazing Fiera mold. So that is looking really good, right there. Then we got more. I guess this is that same first initial shot put into the display and looking great. Looks a little bit different because it's in the display. When are we going to get Swoop? Me, Swoop, no see nothing. And then here we go with Masterpiece Shelf. So there's a kind of an update going on here and some stuff moved around and looking great. I want to point this out too. So like you see the yellow, what's that, Tiger Track back there, and then you see kind of the red version of Sunstrigger. That looks great. And I always kind of wondered, like, where would I put those different colored ones? Would you want to put them all on one shelf, or would you want to mix them up? That's what he's doing, is mixing them up. As you can see right here, we've got, of course, Sideswipe in here, and looking great, excellent looking shelf. I love the lighting, and the weird thing is, it's like the different color lighting that gives it such a different effect than what I kind of get with my stuff. But this is going a whole different direction. So I believe this is the Origins Snake Mountain, which is amazing. They did a great job with that, and this has some 2000X characters on it. And basically, you can get that Origins one, and you can put Masterverse with it. You can put Origins with it. You can put 2000X with it. You can put pretty much anything with it. Classics, of course. For $80, it was a great deal. And then this is upgraded with LEDs for this Metroplex. And I also want to say that I don't think this Metroplex was a bad Metroplex, but I do think that we're knocking on the door of several better ones coming eventually. But will they have LEDs in them? Not at all. No electronics in the ones coming from, if Hasbro makes one. Now, this next Cyan Culture one, you have to put them all in yourself. Here we go with the... See, this is mostly Fans Toys? Is Fans Toys X Transbots? No, not mostly Fans Toys, but a lot of Fans Toys. Anyway, it still looks really good. Spread out. You use clear risers and all that kind of stuff. And that looks great. I'm also wondering, looking at the bottom there, okay, that's a light for the other shelf. Wonder if there'll be some reverse lighting on it. Excellent pictures. Excellent collection as always. Very, very impressive. I am impressed. Thanks for sending them in. Okay, now I'm hoping I'm saying the name right. Gyo's collection here. I just got one picture, and I looked around to see if maybe somehow I think he submitted a whole lot more pictures, but it didn't show for me. So I apologize for that. If you want to submit more, I would definitely showcase them in the 19K sub special. But with this, you can kind of see a whole lot of stuff going on here. Looking down below, you've got, I'm not 100% sure, I believe it might be a Lego version, but it's the Tantive 4, the Blockade Runner for Star Wars, which is very... it's one of those vehicles that they need to make, and they haven't made yet. But that's big. If that's a Lego, that's a big boy. But it's nowhere near as big as like a HasLab would need to be. And then we've got some Transformer stuff going on. We've got Unicron in there. And the interesting thing is that we've got this big display on the wall. Then you've got an encased display, which is something I haven't seen quite like that before. It's like these are behind glass, and then this one's out. So it's really interesting. And then, of course, showcasing the boxes and having the boxes there. I do like seeing packaging in it, too. But this, I believe, is just a small corner of what... There's more stuff going on elsewhere. But thanks for showing this. Very cool, very fun. And I look forward to seeing more pictures from different angles. All right, so this is Josh's collection. And I have to tell you, this is probably the most real estate ever in a display that I've seen allocated towards figures. Most of it is one figure per shelf. The whole wide room, all well lit, all of these display cases. This is impressive. I've used this picture in a video already, but very, very impressive. When I first saw it, I didn't realize that it literally was pretty much the whole room, and very clean, very neat. And all of these figures are going to get the attention that they deserve with this display. Here's one shelf. As you can see, we've got the Constructicons, so we've got a Devastator up top, and then we've got each one separated down below, so two sets, which is a way to display combiners. And you got a whole, I don't know if it's a Detolf, I don't want to say that, but Detolf type of shelf. And then we've got all these other ones set up very similarly, and all of them pose some sort of action pose or stance. Pretty interesting. We've got this here. This is actually the other end of it, the other end cap of it, but really cool looking stuff going on right here. Very nice setup on how it goes. I think the Dinos line the top. Then here we go with, now get this, the mini bots. You're putting 2 mini bots or 3 mini bots, 2 car bots, based on the size, how much real estate they get. And that makes sense. But that's still a lot of space for those few so that you can appreciate them. Definitely looks good. Here's another angle. I don't have these like directly in a specific order, but here we go with Lego Voltron. We've got a HasLab Unicron in a minute. Let's see. That is the Fans Toys version of... I believe it's the Fans Toys of X-Frame. And here we go with another shot of that really clean, long shelf. And I do think the Dinos line the top. You've got Dinos, just all 5 of them, take up 5 different shelves on the top. More of the mini bots, more of the big spots in there. So looking really cool. You got a Perceptor. He's got his shelves himself. And then here's some baddies. All these bad guys just doing some bad stuff. And looking good doing it, though. I mean, really looking good. And very nice. Very nice. Josh, thanks for submitting that collection. It's very impressive. I've never seen anything like that before, by the way. All right, now we're going to get into Sam's collection. And Sam's sent a lot of pictures in the past, so he's kind of showing updates. So some update stuff here. Pretty cool picture right here, what's going on. A diorama of... We've got, of course, the death of Optimus Prime. And, yeah, a very important scene in the movie. And right there, that looks good. Real good. And Sam's also showing this is a kind of an interesting angle of his toy room, a display collection. Feels like a store. Feels like he's at a toy store with the way he has that shelf that's in there. Very interesting. And I think that's kind of something that we all like to replicate just a little bit, especially with packaging, is to have that kind of store feeling. It's fun. And then here he goes with, that's Robosen on the stand, and this is something that I didn't know because I don't own a Robosen, I've never handled one, but when he's turned off, he just kind of goes limp. That's, you need the stand to help him stand when he has no electricity going to his servos and joints and stuff. But yeah, thanks Sam for showing that. So we got a picture of Sean's collection here, and I think there were more pictures submitted, and I just couldn't find them or get them for one reason or another. If you just submit them one picture at a time, I will go through and find them all. But this is a lot of fun right here because, as you can see, there's a scene build, and you can walk around both sides of it, and then there's the wall of just some other scenes and displays going on. And with this, you can see it from different angles and go around it, as opposed to kind of like all my stuff is pushed up against a wall. So there's a back of the wall. So there's no 3D to it. And this is something also, like if you had a flag, G.I. Joe flag display, like I feel like my flag display is only half a display because it's pushed up against the wall. So with it being out away from the wall so we can walk around it, makes a whole lot more sense. Anyway, Sean, I do look forward to seeing more pictures of your collection, what you got going on from different angles. Thank you. So we're going to end this out with Nick's collection, and I have to admit that he's been holding out on me. He sent me a couple of pictures, and it's like a random picture here and there. But now that we can see the whole thing come together, it's just mind-boggling. Very impressive. Nick's been collecting for a long time, probably as long as I have. And he's been collecting different things, so I find it very interesting to see all this stuff. But this is Master Universe, and I believe he's got pretty much every castle that's been made, whether it was the Mattel, the Matty Collector, or the original, obviously the original, and then you've got 2000X, and then you've got, I think, the Origins in there and all that. So, really impressive, but of course, probably everything that was made for the Classics line. So impressive. Okay, here's another shot from a different angle of this other wall, and I want to say that everything is displayed extremely well. Everything looks like it's displayed with purpose. There's a lot of lighting put on this, just very nice, and I know that he put a lot of work into this, and it's one of those things where this is a product of changing things around, because I remember him sending me a picture, and then it changed a couple of weeks later or a couple of months later, but this is impressive. I didn't know it was to this level. I want to say that you've got Masters Universe on the left there, and a whole lot of stuff going on. Then on the right, a lot of the Visionaries stuff, not Visionaries, Voltron stuff, and with that, just looking really good. That's a lot of kind of different Voltron stuff displayed very clean, very neat. Big ones on top. And then we've got Centurions going in there, and I'm pretty sure we got more Centurion pictures. But then we've got this going on over here. So this is further down and more stuff that's going on. Very, very impressive. Just all the different vintage toy lines that are showcased here, and they're all shown very neat and organized and clean. And this is something to be proud of your display and how you display your stuff. And this is very impressive. I really like it. We got Bionic 6 in there. We got Rambo in there. We got the Supernaturals are in there, and just so much amazing stuff. And I think that I could show pictures of this for days, but close-ups and all that kind of stuff. But looking very impressive. I mean, some of this stuff, it's kind of a low-key flex from a long time collecting. A lot of this stuff was gathered well before any of this early boom. This is not jumping on the bandwagon on 2020. This is a passion from decades, and looks amazing. Then here we go with this going a little further over, and we've got a lot of TMNT. This is another thing, and I meant to ask. I think I did. I might have forgotten what the answer was, but at the bottom there's some empty space, and I know there's some very specific stuff he's planning to put there, and that's something that I do like to showcase, is the empty space in these collections. And if you look at the top back, there's like a whole hanging shelf dedicated to the Hasbro Indiana Jones. That's impressive just within itself. And then, of course, all of this stuff going on with the Turtles, some of that TMNT stuff is just getting really hard to get and collect and complete. And I think most of his stuff, I mean, if not all of it, is complete. I mean, he's very stickler to getting his stuff in really good condition and complete. Then we have this wall here, and this is another impressive wall that showcases the Star Wars collection and Mask collection, and then G1 Transformers, and just all of it spaced out really well, displayed really well, looking really good. And then I do want to point out that down below you've just got all of these retro collection figures that are just laid in there neatly, and although you can't see them all, it does have that kind of effect like you're at the toy store, because those are the figures and how we saw them at the toy store. Well, they didn't have that big old retro circle on them, but still, that's impressive, a lot of fun. And then having that yellow background up top on the right where you have the vintage figures, and then just amazing. And then, of course, the scene with the Imperial Shuttle, I love that. Amazing looking collection. Peeking down in the corner with the laser tag stuff going on. Then here's the other wall, and just impressive. All the Star Wars stuff going on, and really, I didn't know he was deep into Star Wars. I didn't know he was into Star Wars at all, and boom. Hey, check it out. I kind of collect Star Wars too. And that is really cool. Really cool. More TMNT stuff going on right here. And so we've got the actual arcade machine. A friend of mine, I went to a birthday party with a friend of mine when I was a kid. His parents rented this machine, and we played it. I don't know if it was this game. It might have been a different one. But I remember playing a Turtles game on an arcade machine in his garage for his birthday. And everyone thought that was the greatest thing. But pretty cool. A lot of fun. We got some artwork and a whole lot of other cool stuff going on right here. Very interesting display. And then there's a whole other room. The Joe room. Wow. This is really impressive. Really crazy. I think I might have more pictures. I might showcase more pictures of this next time. This is the flag. And like I said, you got to be able to walk around your flag. He did that. He made sure you can walk around the flag. So you can 360 that thing. Of course, the jets that are on there, one of them's on one of the takeoff stands. Very nice. Looks fantastic. Look at all those, his tanks over there, and all the figures that are lined up. I didn't even know he was into Joe at all. And then there's this room. But great collection, Nick. Thanks for submitting it. So thanks again to everybody that submitted your collections. And if you submitted it in video, I did not have ability to use video from the Facebook, so I just have to have pictures. I'm sorry. Please submit pictures if you can do that. And I'll have a link down below, hopefully right when this uploads, if not shortly after it uploads, a link to the 19K subscriber special so you can put yours in there. But let me know what you think about these collections, and like and subscribe. Titanium Hanger out.